Hello, this is Cynthia, sharing some tags I created for ADORNIT's Mother's Day Make It event. This week, May 1st through the 5th, the ADORNIT ambassadors will be showcasing ideas for Mother's Day. Thanks for joining me. I gathered all the supplies to create this mom tag. So I put together all the papers and the punches and the die cuts and the tags needed to create this. Here I am just choosing the flower petals, pattern papers from this Valentine release. Lots and lots of pinks and reds and browns, very warm, very inviting colors. I wanted to make a patchwork flower for the middle of mom and to make that a floral centerpiece. Here I am just choosing the 5 different patterns. I wanted to put them together so that they're pleasing to the eye. The thing with these papers is that there's so many patterns and you can create so many different tags using all these fun papers. I wanted to find a different pattern for the center of the flower so that it stood out, so I found that cute red and white polka dots. I'm putting those papers away so I could work on the tag itself. I wanted to have a very basic background, so I found some tan cardstock, and then here I am die cutting the letters M and M to spell out mom. Just chose some red cardstock for my scrap pile, and I have tons of scraps for these projects. I wanted to use the red M's as a background, so I die cut 2 other M's in pink. I wanted to give some dimension and so the letters can stand a little bit, so I will be layering the pink and the reds on top of each other to give it some interest. I have so many of these doilies hanging out on my desk, and I use it often for fillers and some visual interest on every project that I have. And I wanted to have this on top of the tag there for the foundation of mom. I'm layering the pink M's on top of the red M's to give it a shadow effect, so that the M's stand out a little bit. I'm bringing back the red and white polka dot papers for a paper ruffle that I'm die cutting. This die cut ruffle is from Coco Reno, and I use it a lot also. Didn't cut all the way through, so I'm just using some scissors to snip where it didn't cut. I'm punching out a small circle for the basis of the patchwork flower with the petals cut out, punched. So I wanted to use that as a base so I could lay out the petals. And there's the ruffle. Again, trimming that a little bit. So this paper ruffle die has perforations already in them. So you just fold valleys and mountains until you are satisfied with your ruffle. And it gives that special touch to every project. And I'm back to creating that flower petal foundation there with a paper punch. I use liquid glue a lot because it is more forgiving, and I'm able to move papers around to reposition them where I'd like them. So I'm just putting those petals where I like them so that their 5 petals are kind of equidistant to one another, and make sure that's the shape I like. And then we'll put the center also. And flowers done. It's time to make the tag part. So I'm just gluing up the doily part and just adhering it to the top. And there it goes, just making sure everything fits on the tag. Wanted to have the elements stand out a little bit, so I distressed the edges with some distress ink. It's vintage photo, and I think I've had this ink pad for about 10 years or so, and I use it often, and I still haven't had to refill the ink. So I'm doing that for the letters and the flower, just so it stands out a little bit. Trying to find more papers, I think, to match, and also wanted to anchor the paper ruffle on top of a strip of paper. So I'm just choosing matching pink, and I'll be trimming that to fit the bottom of that tag. So I'm just creating the strip to fit the bottom of the tag, just doing some fishtails for each end. Also distressing the fishtail element there, and then just making sure that that ruffle fits on top of that, that it's not too short, not too long, but it fits right on top. So I'm using my old ATG gun to kind of adhere everything together. Again, that's another supply that I've owned forever and ever. I don't seem to get rid of anything. I just seem to keep them forever. I'm adding some liquid to make sure that it's doubly secure, so it's both the tape runner as well as the liquid glue. Makes it more secure. I'm die cutting the tag reinforcer, the hole reinforcer, off camera, just so it doesn't tear when I'm putting some twine or some ribbon on top of that. This twine is from Walmart. It's just natural twine, and it doesn't seem to ever run out. I think I could use this twine for many years to come. So I'm just stringing that through, making sure that the button is finished, and I'll be putting that in the middle of the flower as well. I'm using some glue dots to make sure that button is secure on top of the flower, trimming excess twine, and then rearranging again to make sure everything fits. Gluing everything down, making sure everything's secure. Just some last minute rearranging, making sure everything's pointed the right direction, everything fits, and just gluing everything down. Tag's almost done, just doing some last minute embellishments. I'm using this seam binding that I'll string through the top of the tag. Just tie a little bow and the tag is done. You certainly don't need all of these elements for this tag for your Mother's Day gifts, but it sure makes it really cute and charming. And the tag's done. Thanks so much for watching.